few afterwards, okay?
Yep.
Give me a hand.
So are you clear about what we're going to do today, Sean?
Yeah.
Have you got an arrow on your leg yet?
Yep.
So we're going to make a cut that's going to come around here like this. And this segment is going to be removed.
Okay.
Okay? That allows us then to bring this part of the leg up to here
Right.
and make the ankle joint into the knee joint.
You be good? Yep. My name's Sean and I'm 14 years old. I have a lovely dog, Sharka, and he's my best friend in the world. And I've got a blue-tongued lizard. His name's Gizzy. You know, Gizzy Lizzy.
Sean's always been a quiet boy, but his passion is bush and animals and nature. What he used to like to do is things like hiking, tramping. Even this year, he wanted to do outdoor education, and I think that's what's really annoyed him, is that, you know, he couldn't go rock climbing and he couldn't go doing all these things.
In 2010, my leg was diagnosed with a bone cancer or an osteosarcoma.
He was diagnosed on the day of his 10th birthday, which really didn't seem very fair. They sent us for an X-ray at lunchtime and we were rung at 3 o'clock in the afternoon saying that we had an appointment in Wellington Hospital. I don't think we actually left a hospital for about 6 months. Osteosarcomas are one of the most aggressive cancers you can get, so they hit these children really hard. They give them 4.5 months of high-dose chemotherapy and then they remove the cancer and then they do another 4.5. Along the journey, we also found out that he had something called Fanconi's anemia. It highly exacerbates the toxicity of chemo.
Every bead sort of means something. So the bumpy ones like that stand for challenges, and the larger ones are major surgeries.
Sean got every complication you can get. He got mucositis, which is all of your soft tissue cavities blister. But he has defied all of the odds. He is just amazing, that boy. Every time things have been down, he's just got through it. Izzy, help Sean, please. Next week we will fly up to Starship Hospital and Sean on the following day will go through his rotation plasty.
Deal with it, I'm fine. In 2012, I got 9 allografts put into the top of my leg. An allograft is human bone. They'd put it in a bit of your leg and then it would grow from there. But they couldn't do that because they had to put titanium instead because my bones were crumbling and falling apart anyway. It's quite sore these days and stops me from getting to school and doing work and those things. Just walking in general, it twists quite a lot and will click out of place every now and then.
Rotationplasty is an operation which is a very rare procedure, but it's reserved for a group of patients who have a problem which is the options are very narrow. So it's an operation where we essentially take the lower leg, and we attach it to near the hip joint, but we rotate the lower leg around 180 degrees, essentially so as we can provide some sort of biological hinge or knee by using the ankle and foot. These people are facing a life-threatening condition and losing their limb, and anything that's better than that is deemed a success for them, and universally they've been very, very happy.
I'm Jess. I'm studying a Bachelor of Design and Fashion, doing my honours degree at the moment. I had cancer in my femur. I think I was about 8 when I got diagnosed. I was one of the first in New Zealand to have the rotation plasty. My surgeon often rings and says there's another one coming through. And yeah, I basically just go meet up with them. And I don't mind doing it just because it would have been really helpful when I was in that situation to have someone to look to. Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet
making
you.
the time to
Nice
see
to
us.
meet you, Sean.
So we have so many questions. One of the things that Sean really likes doing is outdoors. I mean, he's passionate about hunting and skiing, and so I mean, I guess that's what we're really wanting to know. With this, are we going to be able to do things like, can you walk? Can you hike? Can you go on uneven terrain?
Yeah, I'm not a huge hiker, so
Right.
I haven't gotten massively into hiking, but you definitely can. I mean, people ski with them, people, yeah, swimming, everything.
Can you drive?
Yep, I can drive. I've got an adaptation in my car, which means I drive with my left foot now, so it just crosses it over, and you can just take it off so someone else can drive.
So do you remember much about your surgery and what happened?
I don't remember a lot. I remember my surgery day being wheeled in, being quite frightened, but definitely knew that what I was doing was something I needed to do. So did you guys want to see what the leg looks like with the leg off?
Yeah, we'd love to.
The top half here, these are something I got made. It was just like a cosmetic thing because what's underneath is really skinny, so Dad contacted Weta Workshops and just got these thighs made. Foot kind of sits inside my prosthetic, so when I'm moving my knee, it's actually me moving my foot.
Look at that, Sean. Well, that's pretty amazing. Particularly this bit your dad's had made, it's just incredible.
Initially I got quite a lot of blisters just because obviously the foot wasn't used to being inside something like that all day. So that was for the first few years, I think, but they lessen quite a bit.
I'd heard it's quite expensive.
Getting the mould done is the most expensive part.
Right.
And then I've had the mould changed, I think only twice, just as I've grown.
Right.
And now it's pretty much
So
not
that's
changing too much.
your dad would have funded?
Yeah, so that's self-funded just because it's a cosmetic thing. I mean, it
would make a
needed
huge
it.
difference to your
Skinny jeans,
confidence?
and definitely a huge difference to my confidence, but I didn't have that for years just because I was so skinny that
Right.
kind of like you are, like that didn't look too much different to that, so it was fine.
His object is to be able to get through this and be able to have a normal life, be able to run again, swim again, do all of those things with quality of life. I mean, he has gone to hell and back, and he's been living in a living hell for the last 4 years. And what he wants out of this is a finality and a better future. As a mum, I have seen now what can be done with Jess and what is out there that can help. I'm very grateful that we have a health department and health support, but it's not all funded. And it's one of the things that really does worry me a lot, is that we have very little. It will be heartbreaking for me if we get to this point and he goes through all this pain and all this challenge, and then I find that he can't swim or he can't run or he can't climb.
Oh, we only have 7, right?
7. 7 girls.
Is this, you're not, no,
When
you're
Sean
not
was diagnosed, it precipitated a lot of long-term problems. We have now, unfortunately, lost our house, our home, our pets, except for Shaka. I remember when Sean was on the oncology ward, you can't have flowers. But the kids used to have all those helium balloons. And I remember Sean looking out into the ward one day and seeing these things, and he just was longing. I'm going to cry, I'm sorry. He was longing to have these balloons, and I didn't even have enough money to buy him a balloon. I'm sorry.
We work at this school to help out, and we do this from Monday to Friday. Normally we get a block or 4 classrooms we have to clean. We'll have to vacuum, mop, and then wipe all the desks, and I have a lot of trouble doing that on crutches. It is quite important because we've gone through quite some hard times financially.
You coming?
Come on. Let's get past the vacuum cleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
Can I have this one? It's very difficult when you're on your own dealing with it because I'm the mum of 3 kids, not just one. And although one is going through this, Sean's sisters also need to come to terms with this. But we appreciate that, and we also realise that this is a journey that everybody's on. Right. Okay, guys, so I need to talk to you about next week. You know that we're going up to Starship on Monday. Yeah, Izzy, you understand? Okay, so Izzy, you're going to go to, you're going to your camp, and Anna, you're going to get stuck into your studies in the first week of the holidays.
Yep.
And then Sean's surgery is on Tuesday. I believe it's very long. It's about 14 hours, so don't sit around waiting. It's a long time. You all right? You all right?
Yeah.
Booked for a rotation plastic Prendeville, P-R-E-N-D.
Yeah, we are expecting you in room 9B.
Sean is actually way ahead on this journey than I am. I was struggling to come to terms with this, but through the eyes of Sean, I have seen that this is actually an opportunity of moving forward into another stage. But we're hoping that this will be the end, and it will be the end of seeing my boy sick and in pain.
I think being negative will get you nowhere in life, and there's not really much point of being sad or frustrated about something, even though being a little bit sad for what's going to happen is okay, but it's no point looking at a negative point of view of anything. It won't help you at all.
Do I see these again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's the metal implant going down into the knee joint here.
Right, okay.
So that segment's all coming out right up to
Right,
here. I'm going to
okay.
move it all up to the top.
Right.
Okay, oh well, we'll get on with it. I'll go and have a cup of coffee and a scone, and
good, yeah.
we'll see you through in the operating room, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You make a cut at the top of the thigh bone, and then below the knee joint. So that's the hard part of the surgery done, where we dissect out the thigh bone, the knee joint, and blood vessels and the nerves, take it away. So if you can imagine, between here and here, there's cords running, called blood vessels and nerves, like that. And we bring the leg up, turn it around 180 degrees and put it there. And the next step is to screw the plate into place with a couple of screws. These vessels are coming out of the pelvis and they're coming down to the back of the leg, and we just sort of coil them up a bit like that and then have it travelling into the foot where it should be going. Because the nerves are what drive the foot up and down, and the whole idea of this procedure is to have something which bends at the level of the knee.
Can you wiggle your toes, Sean?
So if you closed your eyes, Sean, which way is your foot going?
It's probably going forwards.
Right.
Feels
Now.
fine?
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt or
it
anything?
feels fine. Yeah.
It's funny how it just
move the whole
works, eh?
thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Did you feel strange when you woke up, or?
I felt like my foot was still forward. I'm like, have they done the surgery yet? Have they just sedated me for ages?
How long's the plaster on for? Just.
We're not
Right
really
by you.
sure. He's healing quite quickly, eh? But
That's good that I wasn't out of bed for ages. I don't
yeah,
Definitely
he's
not this
just
quick.
So bring your leg back. Well done.
Surgery is the sharp end of the event, but there are a lot of other skilled people who add to the success of the procedure. Physiotherapists, and then later on the prosthetists who have to attach a limb to the foot and make it work. It's a big team event.
Do a small low.
A work in progress.
Yeah. Needs further training. Nice. I'm giving it a shot.
John.
That's the American way, see.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So the reason why Sean has chosen this option is that they said, look, we can try and patch it up, but you're still going to be limited in what you can do. And Sean says, I'm planning to beat the cancer, I'm planning to be here, and I want a leg that works. So that's why we're here with you, because hopefully you're the positive solution that you can give us legs that can do what we want them to do and not be limited in actions.
Yeah.
So you've already started your list of things you want to do,
Yes.
don't you? He's got
Scuba diving is one of the big things.
I suppose from our point of view, you know, the thing is although it's a foot, you've got it as a knee, and that gives you a huge advantage as an amputee, and you can do lots of things. And you can start, ticking off that bucket list a little bit down the track. But there is a bit of time to get to that point. And normally what happens is that once the prosthesis is made, you start to wear it for short times just to get used to it. So it's a graduated wear, so that's what we call a graduated wear, and weight bearing as well. So, it's not like you strap it on and off you go all day.
I'll cast right up the thigh.
We're about nearly a month past the surgery, and Sean has done much better than I think anybody anticipated.
And out to the side, that way.
Oh, yeah.
But I think what I've realised after seeing the limb centre is we have quite a steep hill to climb.
Lie down on your back, Sean.
But the target is actually a new normal. It's never really going to be back onto full 2 feet, so we have to just, change your expectations. On the positive side, I have never seen so much motivation in Sean. It's so rewarding.
Lift your leg up rather to you there.
I can cope with pain extremely well because I've had to live with so much pain and live with pain every day of my life.
Really work the muscle hard, all right? And then relax.
There'll be good days and bad days, and I would, I just realised that physio is actually quite hard, and that I've got a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Easy. All right, you can stand up.
I remember it being really tiring, having to, like, while you're trying to adjust to just having all this done, you're also having to do all this rehab, and it's the boringest exercises and all that kind of thing. I told him in the meeting, actually, that the best outcome will be if he puts in the hardest work in rehab, and as crappy as it is to have people making you do boring physio exercises, it's just kind of something that you have to maintain in order for it to be really functional.
I'm quite surprised by sort of all what's been going on and how fast this has actually happened. Sort of thinking a little bit about the future and how this is going to affect my life so much. And it really has affected my life quite a lot.
So Sean, vault on up on me. Yeah, right, no worries. No worries. So what I'm going to do is make a mould.
Yeah.
Yep. Right up to here.
Right,
In three parts.
right.
And then, so from that mould, then I'll start do some modifications on the actual cast.
Right.
To just allow for extra growth.
We used to do this to plates when you wanted to preserve the food and then put it in the fridge.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Turns out,
You do it on your leg.
yeah. They have to, like, almost make a mould of the foot first, just to get weight and size and everything right. Otherwise, it may not fit the best.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yes, yes. I'm just holding the foot so it gets a better contour in the finished
Right.
limb. Because the foot coming down here
Right.
becomes the back of the calf,
Okay.
and the heel becomes the kneecap.
Okay, Sean, breathe.
From that cast, we end up with a positive mould of Sean's limb, and so from that positive mould, we fabricate a fiberglass socket. The socket is fabricated from fiberglass and nylon stockinette. What Angie's doing is she's tipped the resin down to the top there, and then she's stringing it out. The resin is evenly strung out through the layers, and so she's got about 10 minutes of working time to string that resin down through all those layers before it starts to gel. Just the socks.
Yeah, they're quite thick college socks.
Maybe you want to go and
Slide.
that's it. Swivel it in.
Oh, look into this. This is definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
Right, you all right?
Yep.
Ooh, it's on.
That's all right.
Wow, look at that.
What does it feel like?
No,
Is it comfy in here?
sort of.
Sort of. It's going to take a while to get used to, eh? You can either crutch or on the rails.
So the idea is to try and get that as straight as you can.
Oh, I can get my photos.
You're going to have to remember to wear thin socks.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Yeah, it's a wee bit long.
Is it high?
Yep, just a wee bit high, so we'll shorten that down.
We're looking at a energy-saving prosthetic that's sort of a little bit harder to learn how to use at first, but once you have it, you can sort of do almost everything with it, sort of join in with everyone. That's quite important to me.
You want to move forward a bit? Or do I'll move the chair
More
back.
off that pylon, though.
Move straight back. There you go. Thank you. You know, you see people like Jess with the prosthetics and bounding through life, and you never really stop to think of the amount of energy that goes through that. And we're beginning to learn now that just the energy, it's not just the fitting, putting it on, the energy it takes and the commitment to overall fitness to be able to drive a leg is quite substantial. And I don't think any of us that have 2 legs really think about that until you're in them.
Okay, so
Broad shorts, but
yeah, no, that's looking good.
Can you remember
Can you remember
how it
how to put
goes?
it on?
I can remember, I think, sideways or something like that.
Go sideways, that's the one. Shorter, but
That's all right, we can. He's going to go.
put it around it. That's about it.
Look at that. Yep. Right. Woohoo! First step, Sean. Yeah. Step.
He surprised, I think, everyone actually. He was up against it right from the start because his osteosarcoma was particularly aggressive. I think people were a little pessimistic as to whether he was going to get there in the end, but he has, he's proven everyone wrong. It takes a motivated patient and their family and people around him for this to be successful, and Sean certainly did his part. And I think as we can see, 2 or 3 months out now, he's looking good.
A little bit more weight, I think, Sean. It's an amazing feeling to see your son, who has battled for so long to walk, take his first steps. And we believe that we're just up, and this is a new beginning, a new day. And I'm sorry, but I'm very emotional.
I'm definitely going to walk again, I know that, and going to try as hard as I can and add more. You can practically almost do anything with the rotation plasty.